Well, today we are going to talk about Lakeland, Florida, which, if you don't know, is located between Orlando and Tampa. And I had to look on the map myself, but today we're going to talk to an amazing, just outstanding realtor who I know, my friend Jenny. How are you today, Jenny?
Hey Jennifer, it's great to be with you.
Thank you so much. And today we are going to learn all about you and all the areas you serve. So if you'd start off, just tell us who you are, how you got into real estate, and maybe a little bit about your family or where you live, whatever you'd like.
Absolutely. I can center it around Lakeland. So my name is Jenny Hayes. I work for Keller Williams here in Lakeland. My family and I moved to Lakeland, Florida in 2001. I was originally born and raised in Canada and in Eastern Canada, a place called Moncton, New Brunswick. All our boys we have three boys, three sons, and they were all born there. And we decided to take a grand adventure. My husband worked for John Deere, and
Mm.
Florida has a very large agricultural industry. And we took an opportunity for him, and we moved to Lakeland. And one of the reasons why we chose Lakeland is, to be perfectly honest, we it was close to where he worked. Number one, we
Mm.
loved the size of the town. It was, well, the city. It's about 100,000 people in the municipal city, and of course, it's grown since then. But it was just, a size city that we felt comfortable in. We could sense all the things. It was good. It was a good local government. You can tell there was some city planning going on. And to be perfectly honest, we were on a year-to-year visa. We weren't sure if we would be staying. I am a citizen now. I became a citizen 16, my husband in 11, and all our boys are citizens. But it was a journey. And but yes, we couldn't choose for real. We couldn't choose between the beaches
Oh,
or
okay.
Disney, and so we went right in between. And in 2001, we were 45 minutes from each, whichever way we wanted to go. And because of the growth, it's more like an hour and 10. But it's still, we say we're close to everything.
That is awesome. That is so interesting because honestly, when I think of Florida, agricultural does not come to mind. I'm just being perfectly honest because here in the Midwest, that's what comes to mind because in Illinois and here in Indiana, we have John Deere, of course. And it's funny. So I don't know. Sometimes I don't think about these things, but in Canada, of course, there's agricultural, but was John Deere in Canada, obviously, and he moved here?
Yeah, so we were from the East Coast, Atlantic Canada. Most
Mhm.
people know Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island. I was in New Brunswick. And yes, and in Green Gables. And he had two opportunities at the same time. One was in Saskatchewan, Manitoba,
Okay.
and the other was here in Plant City, Florida. And we honestly thought we would see family more if we moved to Florida. And I, like you, Jennifer, I'm like agriculture, it was all tourism. But it's
Yeah.
it's one of the largest, I believe it still is. At the time, it was the largest. So they would calve cattle. So the calves were born in Florida
Mhm.
and then shipped. So there's still, and there's, the all the growing. There, it's just, it's extremely huge, and we did not realize it's always in the top two, top three, depending on the different
Oh.
categories. So. Mhm.
That is so crazy. One day we will have to talk about Prince Edward Island, my obsession with Anne of Green Gables, but not, not this video, okay? But I love that so much. It's so good to know about you. So, one more question. How long have you been in real estate, or how did you get into real estate?
That's a great question. So I have been licensed for 3 years, and I've been a full-time solo agent since 23. And sorry, no, since 24, early last year. And I have, my prior experience is organizational management. I would do change management for different groups. I worked for nonprofits, for the church, for county government. And so I would be brought in for different initiatives. I did, yeah, different projects for them, staffing, changing fundamental visions, policies, that kind of thing, creating some policies. And so loved it, loved, we always, I worked for folks who had a great, clear mission and felt really good about everything we did. However, the last job I did, it was connected with work abroad. And I felt for my family, I would like to be more connected locally
Mm.
to my community. And so I was working with an executive coach, and real estate kept coming up. And one of the things I wanted to do also was buy real estate for our family. So I wanted to learn it at a high level, and it just worked out. I just started moving towards real estate as being a realtor. And what I've discovered is, it's funny how what we do connects to what we have done connects to what we end up doing. I find through
Oh,
my whole life, the different roles seem so far apart, but yet things I've done, experiences I've had, they've built upon each other to help me serve people further wherever I've gone. And in this situation, what I was doing was I would be taking the vision of a company or a leader and then making it into reality, building, doing the change, doing the initiative. And so now I'm taking the vision, first capturing the vision of individuals and families, and then bringing that about for them. And it's just so rewarding.
yes, it is. It really is because it's all about serving people.
Mhm.
And of course, you have just become an expert in your area. You're an investor yourself now, and we'll talk more about that in a bit. But let's kind of talk about, since we know how you got into real estate and a little more about you, let's talk about Lakeland. So, if someone was thinking of moving to Lakeland, Florida, what does the real estate market look like right now? And we're in June 2025.
Okay, so right now we are at the seasonal peak of our market. So it peaks right around May, June, and it just kind of goes like this. But it's never completely dropping off because we have
Hmm.
seasonal, we still have snowbirds. We have a lot of growth in our city. Um, one of the biggest one of the biggest additions to our community is a new hospital. We're going to have over
Oh,
360 beds. It's due to open next year. And it's going to be, I believe they call it a level 1 hospital. So there's that. We have a lot of, we're right on our county borders with Hillsborough. Lakeland is, Lakeland is about, I would say, 10 miles from the county border. So there's a road called the County Line Road, and that is huge for, like, we have transfer stations all the way up and down. There's an Amazon um, uh, transfer station there. A lot of industries are there, so we are a hub. I don't know if you just heard the train going by. um,
no.
it's yeah, so we're right on the I-4 corridor, you can
Oh,
see.
okay.
So
Oh, yes.
yeah, so we have a lot of people that are here to stay in Lakeland, but also are centered in Lakeland. Really like my husband too, because he travels for a living, and so he can access either Tampa or Orlando as far as international airports, whichever way he needs
Sure.
to go.
Sure. So, are there a lot of homes available in your area right now? Are you seeing a lot of buyers? Are you seeing more sellers right now? What's the situation?
So we are like the national statistics. We are seeing an uptick in sellers. It doesn't mean there's less buyers than last year. We just have more sellers coming into the market. And I believe for a lot of reasons that are similar to national reasons, people were waiting for different things to change, things in the news, maybe perhaps interest rates, but life goes on, and life events happen. And I think what we're seeing is my clients have just decided that it's not worth the time in their life to wait for that move that they've wanted to do.
Right. Right. I agree. And, Florida kind of has a unique set of challenges. You know, Florida with hurricanes and things of that nature, honestly, I've talked to people who have moved here, really high in some areas. Um, homeowners insurance, or maybe an ability not to even get owners insurance in some of the areas. Um, I think you're unique in that aspect, but as far as sellers go, I think that you have a lot of sellers and we're seeing more as well. But when the homes are priced correctly for the condition that they are actually in, that's when we're seeing homes sell faster. Do you agree that that's the case in Florida as well?
I do, Jennifer. I just had what I advise people, my sellers, are that for years, I mean, 10 to 15 years, we were just in a bidding war, a pricing war. And now we're in a pricing war and a beauty competition. So you have to have a good product. And, we invest in cleaning, we invest in staging. And another thing, depending on the price point, our median is right around 370. You can get a great house in the threes here. And then if you want any additional features, you're moving up into the fours or sizes of lots or that type of thing. But for that entry level medium price point, your competitor is very often new construction, and they can be offering maybe even, I don't know, you're dealing with that where you are. Do you have a lot of new builds?
Yes, I was going to ask you kind of about new builds, which is great. Yes, in Indianapolis and the surrounding areas, we are seeing lots and lots of new builds. Now, we have a lot of land. Um, of course, somewhere like New York City doesn't have that opportunity, for example, but we here in the Midwest have a lot of land. So we see a lot of new construction right now. We're seeing tons and tons and tons of 55 and over communities, which is a population that um, it's there's such a high demand. And I know in your area as well, probably people who are downsizing. Do you see a lot of people starting to do that, downsizing into the one level homes? We call them ranch homes here. Apparently, some people call them ramblers across the United States, which I've never heard of. But are you seeing, people who are downsizing, retiring, things like that, coming from other areas, or even in your area going to those one level homes, and like you asked, are they building those in your area?
Yes, so most of we call that, I like to call that aging in place. There's a term called aging in place. And I've helped many clients, I'll speak of one specific.
Yeah.
The good news about our area is we don't have basements. Everything's, most homes are on a slab, especially if they're new construction, they are on a slab. And so most homes are one story. And so that's a great offering that we can have for people. Then they're looking from that, they're looking for other steps, and how wide are the doorways, and can it accommodate a walker, or just various degrees of life. Some people want to have all of their property, so we have low or zero maintenance options, garden
Mm.
homes, where your green space is all looked after. The lot sizes aren't very big, but the HOA looks after all of the mowing of the main areas, and you just look after the shrubs directly around your property. So you can plant flowers, you can
Yeah.
make it your own. And then but as far as the market and how that is playing out, so I just helped a family, actually, a wonderful couple. They are maybe 5 years into retirement, and they were looking around, and they have a beautiful lot, third of an acre, lovely pool home, raised their family there 30 years in that property. And then they looked around and they decided, we want to be freed up. We don't want to spend so much time, money, and energy looking after a property. So I helped them
Mm.
find their aging in place home. And then we just readied their home for the market. And it was great. It was priced very well. The condition was, they looked after the home. There was no delayed maintenance there. And we did invest in staging. We had over 40 people at the open house, and we had two offers within 4 days. So
Wow.
that was great. I mean, last year we had that for the same actions, we'd have 5 or 6 offers on the
Wow.
weekend. So it has slowed, but so there are still buyers out there, but they just have more choices.
Right, exactly. Well, yeah, we're seeing the same thing here. So you mentioned some of the industries. I heard you mention, of course, agricultural. You mentioned medical. Let's talk about investors. Since you have some of those industries where you are, medical, there's probably schools around, maybe colleges or universities close by. Are there opportunities for investors either in Florida or coming from outside of Florida to invest in maybe Airbnbs or midterm rentals, short-term rentals, any of those type of things?
There are. We have. I know several people who have Airbnbs and midterm rentals, like you said.
Yeah.
They We have a lot of professionals coming in for different, like you said, universities. We have two universities, a community college in Lakeland, and they are doing really well. The challenge is cash flow. So I actually host a new investors meeting once a month. And I started it up actually to learn for myself because I wanted to invest in property. And it is challenging with what we just saw. I mean, homes, I did the calculations myself from 2019 to 2023, homes appreciated 60% in our area.
Hmm.
And so there's something called cash flow, which means you want your expenses, you want your income that the property generates to exceed what your expenses are. And so it's a little bit of a balance that you have to work out. It's a balancing act, but if you find that right purchase, there's definitely the need for it. We've got the students, we have the visitors, we have people. There's Legoland that is in Winter Haven, and again, people are landing here because they are wanting to see so much of the state, and they can see it all.
Right. And I forgot, of course, one of your main things in Florida is tourism. So yes. Now you recently have become an investor. This group that you host, is this group online? Is it in person? Tell me more about that.
So it's in person. So it was generated around. There is a group called Bigger Pockets, and
Okay.
it's a podcast. It's very old. They have a lot of books out, and I still listen to a lot of the uh, the news articles that they put out and different things. But so we called it Bigger Pockets Meetup in Polk, and so we that's where we started, and we probably have 25 to 30 people come out every week.
Wow.
Some regulars, there's always new faces, but Jennifer, it's the most generous group of people. I've learned so much from the people that are there, and it's really local investors helping others become local investors, uh, instead of larger groups coming in, maybe corporations coming in and buying properties and renting them out. It's about locals buying the properties, caring for the properties, and then the money stays here.
I love that because you know, we've all heard about the corporate investors, the private equity firms, and I will go ahead and say on here that I oppose that greatly, and I will say that to anyone. I will go to city council meetings and talk about that because when they come in and outbid people who live in our community that want to buy rental properties like yourself, for example, and they have large amounts of cash, it's hard to compete. So that is a great opportunity for those local investors to talk, share ideas. That's so awesome. We'll put that information in the video below if there's anyone in your area that wants to join. Um, when you are out day to day and you're helping people, what areas of the country, because love lots of people, we always think, oh, lots of people love to retire in Florida, but people come to Florida for different reasons. Where are you seeing people come from? Are you seeing a lot of people coming from the West Coast, the Northeast, the Midwest? When you're helping people, where are they coming from?
So what I'm seeing is for most people, they have some tie or connection to Florida,
Okay.
and they've returned. I'm seeing a lot of people return from to Florida, to Lakeland
Mm.
specifically. Um, or maybe they've married and they've decided between the two places to move to Florida. The couple actually I'm meeting with tomorrow, interestingly enough, they have a lovely property in Fort Myers, and they have decided, and this is actually the second group within the last year at least, families that I'm helping, they prefer to be inland. They love Florida. They want to stay in Florida, but they prefer to be inland because of the storms. They don't want to have to face the storms on the coast. They still can be very serious here, but definitely not as serious as our friends in the coast.
Sure, of course. Now, um, so people are coming from all over, and obviously you are an expert in your area. So, kind of to wrap our talk up, if someone was thinking they wanted to move to Lakeland, Florida, what's one piece of advice you would give them on where to start or how to figure out where they want to live in Lakeland?
So I would say definitely get with a professional realtor that can guide you. In Lakeland, we have really three cities in one that's developed over the years. There's South Lakeland, Central Lakeland, and North Lakeland. And so you want to have a consultation. I know I do a buyer's consultation if they're looking to buy here, and that can really help inform who's ever helping you what it is that is important to you. What is being close to a golf course important to you? Is having lots of land important to you?
Mhm.
Is having an HOA, not having an HOA, which is important to you? We have both. And how close do you want to be to downtown? How close do you want to be to, the major highways and to other parts of the state? So I would say definitely get with, and then there's the school. If schools are important, I mean, there's huge choices that we have, a variation of choices that we have here in Lakeland. There's parks. How active are you? How important is a community pool or not? Those types of things, and then we can help expedite your search and really pull up the best homes for you so that you actually land exactly where you stay, which is what my husband and I did.
I love that. Such good information. So, if you're watching this video and you're thinking about Lakeland, Florida, obviously Jenny is the clear choice. You can comment below and we'll connect you. But thank you so much, Jenny. It's been so awesome talking to you and learning about your area. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Jennifer. I so appreciate you. It's always a joy to talk with you.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day.
You too.